Hello. Look at this door. How do you open it? Well, of course, you push it. And if you read the label, you'd see that. But what if you didn't have time to read the label? Or what if you couldn't read the label? Well, the design suggests that you should pull it. And there's this guy. Well, it's a microwave. Well, do you know how to use it to heat up a plate of leftovers? Well, I assure you, it doesn't work like any other microwave you've ever used. No microwave works like any other microwave you've ever used. Websites can be pretty hard to use too. So these guys do all right nowadays, but 16 years ago, they were having a bit of a problem finding a place to put all those tabs that you see at the top of the page there. There's a lot of stuff in this world that's hard to use. Computer software, websites, tax paperwork, all those remote controls you've got lying around your living room. And things that are hard to use, they make us feel like fools. And if you only take away one thing from the next few minutes, it's this. It's not you, it's the design. These things should be designed better. And my job is to try to make things like doors and microwaves and websites easier to use. The work I do is called user experience design. And so why don't we unpack that term? Well, first, user experience. Well, the user experience is all of the actions people take and all of the feelings that they have when they're using a product. And that product can be anything that we design and build. And every part of the design contributes to that experience. The colors, the pictures, the words, the box something came in, the customer support hotline, all of these things matter. Now, user experience design involves going out and finding out how people really use your product, website or program or gadget, whatever it is, or how they're getting on with their lives without your product in it, and then taking that information back and designing or redesigning something that meets their needs and is easy for them to use. It puts humans at the center of design. Well, how about an example? So a few years back, a couple years back, I was one of the people working on this page. People read journal articles here when they're doing some kind of academic research. And we brought people into the lab to watch how they actually use the page. And we went out and we interviewed people about how they do research, and a pattern emerged. The single most important thing they wanted to do on this page was to download a PDF copy of the article, save it for later, read the thing, archive it so they never lose it. Well, how do you download a PDF copy of this? Well, if you look around for the link, you're going to find it. If you're invested in finding it, well, eventually you're going to find it. But the link is small, and it's mixed in with the stuff that people didn't actually want to use very often. And so when we had the chance to rebuild this page, well, we streamlined it, and we made the download PDF button bigger, and we took some of those other links and we tucked them away so they wouldn't distract people, and behold, people had an easier time finding the place where you download the PDF copy of this article. Now, designing things so that they're easier to use, well, it isn't necessarily just about making doors and microwaves and websites less annoying. Sometimes it is a matter of life and death. Now, in Stockholm a few years back, they decided to take a different approach to making their roads safer, a sort of user experience design-y approach. So they started with the assumption that humans are not perfect and that they're going to make mistakes. I know, right? Not a bad assumption. And so they started to design their roads to prevent mistakes. One of the problems they tackled was intersections with traffic lights. Now, the thing about intersections with traffic lights is they have a lot of high-speed, dangerous accidents, when people run red lights for whatever reason, and it's going to happen. And so they took these intersections and they started to replace them with roundabouts. And the thing about roundabouts is they change people's behavior. They force you to slow down and pay attention. And in changing people's behavior, well, they prevented the accidents from happening. And this approach worked, and Stockholm has the safest roads of any major city in the world, and they're a model for other cities to emulate. And designing for human needs and capabilities also means designing for people with a wide range of disabilities. Did you know that there are people that use the internet just by listening to it? And that means that a page like this kind of sounds like this when it's read out loud to you. And designing for people that can only hear a website means making sure that it, as much as possible, that it makes sense without the pictures and without the colors and without the spatial relationships between the different parts of the pages. And people that really specialize in this accessibility part of user experience design, well, they get a really deep understanding of the techniques and technologies to support a whole range of different disabilities. And most of us are probably going to experience some form of disability in our life. And so designing things to make them easy to use, designing things so we don't leave anybody out, it's not just a good thing to do, and it is a good thing to do. It happens to be good for business as well. A study by Forrester indicates that the top 10 companies leading in customer experience outperformed the S&P index with close to triple the returns, and that every dollar invested in user experience brought $100 in return. And wow, that's fantastic. But in the end, the most important thing for you to remember is just that it's not you, it's the design. The technology, the services, the organizations, the society that we build should be based on human needs and capabilities, whether those people using them are young, old, distracted, using something for the first time, or have a disability. And when you're struggling to use something, when you're struggling to use your phone, when you're struggling to do your taxes, struggling to read a hospital bill, well, it's not your fault. These things should have been designed better, because design matters. And as we shape the world with the technology and the society that we build, it's absolutely imperative that we put humans at the center of design. Thank you.